Awesome. Well, we are live, so that's pretty cool.
Epic.
This is one last ride here today on the interviews with Modern Lion Art, Spooky Trash, and Unkempt. This is JuCo hosting it. So how about we just introduce ourselves by who's here, with who's here for now.
All right. Hi, I'm Modern Lion Art, captain, main tank for one last ride, and also the manager.
I'm back. Sorry.
Then go ahead and introduce yourself. It's your turn.
I'm Trash Rodent. I play flex support, and I really wish I wasn't on Moira for one last ride.
I'm Unkempt. I'm the main support for One Last Ride. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, pleasure to have you guys. We'll hope that the stream doesn't have as many scuffs as yesterday. So we'll jump right into it. You guys, great team. You guys have only lost once, maybe twice. Once, and that was to Meteors. Yeah. So that's an incredible record to have, knowing that they're like consistently favorites of the league, our community. And so we have 5 weeks left. Walk me through how those 5 weeks are gonna go. How you're thinking it in your mind. All of you can answer. This isn't not just one of you.
Okay.
You can
So
go first, Modern.
our game tomorrow kind of got canceled due to some issues.
They're a little scared. I get it. Yeah.
Harmony and Chaos, or not Harmony and Chaos.
Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. Yeah, Sugar Rush is a little bit not there anymore. So we got that handled. You know, looking forward to we got Infius. That's a game which I'm somewhat confident we can win. You know, just maybe like 80%. Then we got a bit of a tough one coming up because we have a streamed game versus Renovatio, but it's streamed on a Sunday, and that Sunday is 3 days before our match versus Commit.
Yeah.
So we have like a 4-day span of probably like our 2 toughest matches in the last half of the season.
Yeah, and then after Commit we have.
And then we beat Invictus for the last week. So yeah.
Wait.
I heard it.
We all heard it.
Yeah.
I get it though. You gotta have that confidence going into especially week 15 after some 3 of your biggest wins. I mean, one of them's coming up, being Sugar Rush, Frantic Lava Cats, and Aimbots. Really toughen that out.
Yep.
Awesome parody in the Discord tier when half of our teams that don't go into the playoffs don't actually show up. So yeah, so I hear you talking a lot about the Reno Commit lineup. That's rough to have a game 3 days before the what everyone in Discord tier unanimously agrees is going to be everyone's hardest game is when you have to play off against the powerhouse of Commit. Is there anything special that you have started to do or are planning to do to get ready for them that you're willing to indulge me in, or is it all under wraps? Got to be secret. Can't give anything away.
I've been taking multivitamins. No, but like I don't think we're doing anything different. Maybe we'll do an extra couple scripts, but like most of it's just secret stuff.
Is it though?
I mean, the patch was supposed to be coming up, right?
Oh yeah, that's rough. So we kind of have to practice for a new patch plus new potential meta within like a week or 2 before that kind of double game.
Plus, we just do not know when the patch is gonna hit either.
Yeah, and also no one knows what the meta is gonna be after the patch comes out, so that's pretty epic.
It's a little rough, but with the Lucio changes, I'm pretty sure a lot of it's gonna stay the same.
So I guess the plan is scrim twice a day once the patch comes out until Commit.
Oh yeah, of course.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about the meta, how it stands, and what potentially you would all like to see as the meta, or what maybe you predict is going to be the meta. So, double shield, obvious meta right now. A little bit of dive rearing its head on certain maps, and like Bastion comps also like resurfacing with the, just Orisa one tricks getting a little bit more time in the sun, being able to pull out the Bastions, the maze, stuff like that. How does that fare to the way that your team played before all that happened and now? Like, are you guys happy? You guys unhappy? Settling?
I think generally this meta has actually been way better than us. Way better for us. I feel like what was the last meta?
It was just Hog Orisa. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the ice fishing for a while. Yeah.
That was kind of just we were like moderately okay at that. Like I'd say we were good enough, but if they were still meta, we probably wouldn't have a bigger chance of beating teams like Meteors and Commit. But I think as generally bad as this meta is considered to be, or at least unfun, I would say it's benefited us because I guess it plays more to our style.
Yeah.
Like the sort of just the double shield, like hard rush, super death volley comps kind of benefit
Close
us.
coordination, sticking together, all that.
But I'm not too worried about the upcoming changes, at least, because I see very little potential for the meta changing enough that it takes us super far out of our comfort zone. Because we've been like practicing at least stuff that could be like, Bastion's sort of played a lot right now. Maybe he's played more, maybe he's played less because of the shield changes. It's hard to tell right now.
Gotcha.
I think that like the next meta might be dive, but only on certain maps, like only first point maps, especially like Numbani perhaps. But if the other team runs like a Bastion on defense double shield, I don't think it's working. Then you gotta swap to, you know, you gotta symbolize the stabilize, easy clap. Yeah, like
I get it.
double shield, Ryan Zarya dive. It only depends on certain maps and like what your team is comfortable in and what other teams might not be, and you just gotta play to your strengths and play their weakness.
What completely convinces me that the meta isn't going to change much is there's no DPS changes. And like the DPS are really what's
You're kind of lying to me right now. Tracer actually got a range increase, so
Oh,
Spooky. They
yeah,
boosted, of
I don't
course.
think that's gonna do much.
Yeah, I like the call out to Tracer's change. I think there's interesting potential there because I know a lot of DPS players are forced to swap to Tracer, just like tank players are forced to swap to Ball when you're like on a defense where you just have to keep coming out of spawn as fast as you can. And with the range difference for Tracer, potentially there's a chance that swinging fights back when you switch to Tracer is a little easier. But I know a lot of people also forsake the Tracer option and go for just Doomfist May because like they also have a lot of once they're on point stay alive potential and they're a little bit easier to play than how hard Tracer is to play currently. But I don't know. I think you're right that the DPS line. I don't think Doom Reaper or like May are going anywhere. I do think maybe the tank line might see a change initially because everyone's gonna, or not everyone, but a lot of the top tier players that are like being outwardly aggressive at this meta that's like it's even worse than goats, which is a lot of like top level players have been saying, which I feel like is unwarranted, but more to the point is like they're gonna try to run more Winston, they're gonna try to run more Ryan and stuff like that. And it might work, but it's probably just gonna be forcing it, and eventually the meta is gonna go back to double shield. I'm excited for what maybe support might do, because I think Moira and Lucio are both good, but I think that we've really been seeing, especially like tier 1 and tier 2 play, that Brig has had her niche, Bap has had some more playtime, Mercy's getting more playtime, so there might be a weird healer combo that doesn't necessarily take over, but maybe is switched out more often with the Moira Lucio. But you guys can talk more about that either later on or right now if you're willing. But we can talk more about your time in the community thus far. I knew very little about your team going in to the season. I'm pretty sure you were like the last team to get formed, kind of as like a placeholder pick.
Not formed. I had expressed interest in joining the community like I don't know, maybe a few weeks, possibly a month before it started. But by that time, all the spots were full, so we were kind of just in a position where we were like, oh, we'll look around and see what else we can join. But right around that time is when, what was it, Majesty Ruby left the community, and that we kind of saw an opportunity. We're like, hey, let's go for it. It was like 2 days or something before, like the start of all the main season matches. So yeah, we kind of came in as just sort of like a mystery, whatever, because we hadn't even been formed ourselves for very long beforehand. But I think just the community setting as a whole has helped us out a lot in like getting the team synergy up from like kind of a baseline.
We were also in a Valk League at the time too, like right before we played like a couple of games, and then we found that Trank was more like more competitive and more like difficult. So we saw that opportunity, and then we took advantage and dropped Valk and stayed in Trank.
Yeah, I hadn't joined the team until later in the season. Like, what was it after the Eclipse game? I think it was that you guys had, right?
It was later than that.
later than that? After the aimbots came? Something along those
Potentially,
lines.
yeah.
I think it was
We
after
stole you
Aimbots.
from free agency once you stole yourself from Instalock.
Yeah, because I left Inslock initially, and I've known Modern like past that. I've known Modern and his team way past that. Like I even subbed for One Last Ride before I joined Inslock. So, yeah, it's been a pretty crazy kind of ride.
One last
There.
ride. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Cap.
How about individually? Where are your roots? I know you guys were talking about Valk before, and then Trash Road and being on Instalock was how I initially found out about you. So like, if that's the beginning of your tale of like this tier of Overwatch, then like that's fine. But if there's anything else that you want to add, go for it. Like, because the whole point of this is learning more about you. See what the individual where you guys come from.
Me and Modern have known each other for a very long time now.
Well, yeah. He was a what was it, Junk One Trick in Plat back in 2017, something like that.
I was an Ana player in Thailand. So.
Yeah, sure. You can tell yourself that.
Yeah, we've known each other for a while.
I've been on and off and on and off and on and off teams with him in the past. Unkemp's just some goober he picked off the street.
Okay, to be fair, I had my thumb out and they picked me up in their Prius, and it was packed with boomers and zoomers, and then we kicked out all the boomers, left all the zoomers, and now we're cruising with a Prius with hydraulics. But yeah, I met Modern and Trash from Jane server. They posted something saying looking for support or something like that, and I was like, hey, I'm playing for Majesty Ruby. Majesty Ruby's downwards trend right now. I'm gonna just pick up One Last Ride. I tried out, worked out, like the guys, and then became friends. And we hold hands all day.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's nice.
And I found Inslock through Specs actually. I forgot which server I was advertising in. Might have been Jane's server, might have been something else. But I found about this community through Specs after I tried out for Inslock, and they liked me over there. But I was getting a little too toxic for myself, and I ended up leaving and left the team. And then I forgot, it was like a week or two went by, and I decided, okay, I think I've calmed down enough, kind of readjusted my mental, I'm gonna find another team. And then Modern happened to be looking for flex support at the time, so it was a perfect fit.
Nice. Let's talk about each player's like role, I guess, at least of the ones here. Modern, you're the main tank, so how are you adjusting to the double shield like horse jail, I guess? And are you looking forward to potentially like trying new comps like come playoffs time when the new meta rolls around? And if so, what are you most looking forward to when it comes to your role as main tank?
Yeah, so about that. So I am in fact the main tank for One Last Ride. However, essentially upon Sigma's release to live servers, I've been a Sigma one trick, mainly because my off tank at the time hadn't played him. So we started scrimming with me on Sigma, and essentially I've just been on the Sigma ever since. So I'm main tank quotation marks, but Sigma one trick is a more accurate description. So the double shield change, or like the double shield like coming into meta was kind of actually okay for me because I was arguably not good at Orisa back in the old Hog Orisa meta, and yeah, okay, thanks. And as far as like changes go, I'm kind of happy. Something I said before is that I'm actually really happy about the changes, even though Sigma's getting by all means nerfed. Like the whole 1 second shield thing, it makes the money will be played as aggressively. I appreciate that they removed his like little shield delay before deploying it, which had always bothered me, despite being like 0.2 seconds. So essentially, a small quality of life change is completely over any doubt in my mind about any potential nerfs that he's getting. Although, in terms of what the meta is actually going to be, it's hard to say for right now. Although I'd appreciate if Sigma still had some position in it, even if he's not like one of the only 2 tanks ever played.
Gotcha. What about your role as in the tank lineup when it comes like, let's say that Sigma stays viable, but Orisa goes down the drain and like Winston or Reinhardt gets pushed out? Does that mean that you're previous off tank becomes the main tank and you stay on that Sigma grind, or is there a chance that you kind of juggle the responsibility like you are now?
You see, that's a good question because I hadn't even thought about that till you just mentioned it. So we have two off tanks technically on one last ride. Telm J can he's more of like an actual like off tank player. So if something like Sigma Rhine say becomes meta, I legitimately don't know what we'd put him on because he's more of like a Zarya Diva Hog kind of person. Uh, and he kind of took on the Orisa jail in lieu of me once the meta came in. So I'm not. But our other off tank, the Bagel, he's pretty flexible. I would say most likely scenario, if in the case of a switch up, like to say Ryan or Winston instead of Orisa, would probably be that I'd go onto the actual main tank for the most part, and Bagel would probably go onto the Sigma, and we'd have Telm either learn Ryan or learn Sigma until he got up to a workable level.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I feel like a lot of teams are doing that. I've interviewed a few teams that, even though the main tank is conventionally like Orisa, and Sigma's the off tank, and there's definitely people that have flipped those roles. And I think this is the meta where that's like the easiest transition. It'd be weird if you made like your Reinhardt Winston player, or when Ice Fishing came out to play the Roadhog, but I know there's a lot of strats where Orisa had played the off tank before, back when she initially came out. Ryan Orisa was a really big combo because of the Halt Shatter, back when ults had the easier time of getting them when they weren't reduced twice. And then also Winston Orisa for like high ground control and stuff like that has been a pretty popular comp like 2 or 3 metas ago. So I definitely see that transition being a little bit less detrimental to how your team can perform. So that's super cool. But let's move over to the supports. So both of you can answer this. Moira, Lucio, are those like, even if this wasn't the meta, would you guys still be like going after those heroes on the hero select screen, or are you, as like a Lucio player, are you mainly into like Baptiste, Brig, Mercy, or as a Moira player, you're more into Ana, Zen kind of stuff?
Okay, so I hate Moira. I really do. I do not like her kit. I do not like playing her. She's a dumb hero. She rots my brain, kinda. You know, I was very conventionally like an Ana and Zen like one trick player, and that's what I've used throughout almost all of my teams. I do play sort of like Lucio too, but I would love to get off the Moira and just have like Ana or Zen back in the meta. Either one really, but I kind of know also that Moira is a necessary evil, and I don't think she's going anywhere until she gets nerfed, which I don't think it's going to be this patch, so it's kind of unfortunate. I would love for Ana or Zen to be back in the meta, though.
Yeah, I agree with Trash. Like, as a Lucio player, I was stuck on Lucio for goats and double shield, but ice fishing and this right now versus. And so, I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't mind playing Lucio. He's one of the best characters to play and have fun. You can just like boom on people and feed into wells and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I like Trash. I played Lucio on a Zen. Like as I climbed up to Diamond, Plat, all that. Right. So I'm pretty proficient at like Ana, but not good at Zen. So I really want maybe an Ana Zen combo coming out, but I really don't think so because Moira's just too good right now. Easy heals, easy ult charge, easy damage, 5 gold medal, Andy.
Easy hero.
Easy hero, easy clap, easy win.
So you mentioned like Ana Zen as like a potential like dream comp between the two of you, because that puts you on like some of your favorite roles that haven't been beat to the ground by goats and ice fishing and stuff like that in the current meta. I know in OWL and tier 2 scenes there have been 2 comps of completely separate heroes from the meta that have been like poking their head out every once in a while, and that's Brig, Ana, specifically on like 3rd point defense or like really tight controlled maps, and then Baptiste Zen as like a more DPS output combo with a lot of sustain when it comes to like Zen's ult and Baptiste immortality. Are any of those solutions to the current like jails you've been respectively put into sound like appetizing, or do you think that's just going to be more of the same, like Bap Zen's not fun, or Brigon is not fun?
Um, I think those comps would be fun, right? But I think they're it's very different from a pro playing them to us. So it's almost like, yeah, I would love to do something like that. I'd love to just look at the comp. Let's copy it down. Let's use it on this map. Whatever. Let's use it exactly how the pros do or however else. But against other teams your level, they also play more predictable things. So if you're playing an Ana or you're playing a Bab Zen and they're just playing more Lucio, it's probably just gonna be better than what you have, which is kind of the most unfortunate part. Like I'd love for Bab Zen. That sounds pretty fun. I don't know if you like Bab on Chem, but I don't know Zen. I'm kind of nasty, so I'd love Zen back in at any point. But we also gotta take the games.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like Trash is kind of pog on Zen. I've seen him do out the damage. He's kind of nutty. But yeah, I'm fine with playing Bath, especially like if we're playing Bastion and stuff. But like, it gets me better like time to practice my aim rather than practice aim on Lucio because he's a projectile compared to Bath, more hit scan like. So I find it more like having fun, switching it up sometimes playing Bath. Fuck Mercy. I hate everyone who tells me to play Mercy. Sad boy hours, but like Trash said, like sometimes like if you play like an Ana Brig or something on like let's say third point Eichenwald and they're running a more Lucio, it's hard to out heal like that comp itself. Their healing rate is just so big, and if they're playing together, it's hard because Ana has to play more in the back and breaks up brawling with their main tank or DPS or something like that. So like if someone comes with a flank, then you're pooping out damage, and there's nothing you can do to out heal.
Right. Yeah, I know that the Bap Zen is an interesting like combo because it's like it at peak has higher healing output than Moira Lucio could ever do because of the sustain of Zenalt and stuff like that, and the sustain of the immortality, and their damage output's also higher. But it's on a knife's edge of being like not viable if either of the high skill characters mess up. So that's always like a weird thing to see at like the pro level, and then it's just super hard to replicate, like you were saying. And then with the Brig Ana, like on paper and the way the pros play it is super good because instead of like having high healing output, because I think of like of the healing line aside from maybe adding Zen instead of Ana, it's like the lowest. But it's also the best for anti heals because it's the Ana has the anti grenade and then the Brig can block off line of sight for healing and stop Lucio, stop Moira, stop Reaper, stop Doom. A lot of the big ticket characters in this current meta. So super hard, and I love those comps to like push forward personally as someone who enjoys some good support play. But I understand exactly what you said earlier. Just if you get put up against somewhere or Lucio, if they ram their head into that wall 5 times in a row, they're eventually gonna get past you. If you don't have a comp that can kind of dish out the same stuff they do, so I understand that entirely. But I hope this new meta adds just a little bit more depth. It doesn't have to get rid of double shield, but give me a little more options across roles, and I'll be a happy camper. Always looking for good Overwatch.
Yeah,
So
just a little diversity.
definitely. So talking about like the upper echelon of Discord tier, a lot of the people on the podcast, a lot of people in the community have been kind of just parroting the same phrases over and over again, which is like there's a clear top four, right? And you guys, I don't know how many of these interviews you've watched, but a lot of teams I interview are Harmony, and they love you guys. They think sometimes they put you guys above like Meteors, which I know is like probably your biggest rival because you're same record, and you guys had that incredible match that was featured, and both really good teams. But a lot sometimes even people put you above Commit, which is super cool. And I think you guys are really cool. Played a match against you, got whomped. So talk to us a little bit about what it means to you guys to do this well coming into the home stretch of the season, and what your playoff run is going to be like.
Oh wow. Okay. So first off, it's really nice. I actually wasn't aware of Harmon Keen's apparently liking us, so that's pretty cool to hear. But in terms of like how we've been doing so far and like what we're looking at, we felt pretty confident at least coming into like this part of the season. Like early on in the season, we were kind of unconfident in our play. Like we had like a bunch of close matches. You might know like with so many like drawn maps. We almost lost to Harmony Chaos week 2 and stuff like that. Like we almost lost to Tough Luck week 4. Had a really close game with Instalock week 5. But as season has progressed, we've kind of built our own kind of status. If we've kind of done our own thing to the point where I think we can all feel confident enough in our like progress we've made and growth we've been making. And as for like the future, we've been practicing pretty hard, like recently especially, getting like starting to get to the point where we can like work out like little issues instead of having to figure out like big like comm structure or like comp selection and all that. So when looking at like a playoff run, we feel confident, obviously, except for like teams like Meteor, teams like Commit, which we've just always felt when playing against them, Lucky Scrim, Commit in the past, that like it's just such a tough matchup because they're the kind of teams that can see what we're doing and like actually adapt to it like on the fly incredibly quickly, like some really impressive stuff. So we think we can get pretty far, all things considered. Whether we can actually manage to beat Commit week 14 and potentially beat Meteors and Commit in playoffs, we're kind of yet to be seen. But as of right now, I think we feel pretty confident going into like earlier matches and like earlier playoff runs.
Nice. How about the rest of you guys? Similar thoughts? Any things you want to express? Any feelings that going into that commit match or your eventual inevitable um, game 2 against Meteors of Fate is with you in the playoffs?
I'm really great friends with most of the people on Meteors. Like I love Pyro, you know, mwah to him. But I think this match of Fate will see a different winner this time. I really hope that we can go against them again, and I really hope that we can somehow pull out the win. I don't know. We're practicing, we're improving. I know they are too, but I just cannot wait for that match. I really hope we go against them, and we don't lose before we go against them. It would be definitely one of the closer and better matches this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Season.
I think like the Meteor lineup is just like pretty fucking stacked. Same with Commit. I don't see them swapping any other players at the moment. Maybe they might drop someone on Commit. Maybe, I don't know. He might leave. Who knows, right? But like their lineups are stacked, right? So we're prepping. We're trying. We're thinking of ways. But we really want to have a rematch against Meteors. We played with them in pugs. Sometimes we just fool around with them in calls and Minecraft or whatever, and Apex maybe sometimes. And so we get to know them. So we want to destroy them. So do they. So it's just a simply rivalry.
Yeah, I like that. I would ask this question to as many teams as possible, but if you had to pick, is there a rival that you have within your tier? And I feel like without having to ask that for you guys, it's a little bit more obvious than some, especially with what we've been talking about. So, like you said, Meteors, you talk to them outside of just the game, and there's like a friendship and a rivalry going on between you two teams. If you had to say this is your chance to say something completely off the cuff. It doesn't have to be anything too serious, but just like a little promise that maybe you could keep to Meteors if you meet each other in the playoffs. What's on the line for you? What's at stake? Is it just pride? Is it like honor? What's going on?
They killed my pet dog in Minecraft, so I want my revenge. Other than that, like if we see them in playoffs, Commit or Meteors like teabags, we don't care. If we want to teabag you, if you want to teabag us, just give us an agreement and we'll teabag. So
Remember that the playoff matches are streamed. So.
Oh.
I was gonna say the winner gets more Cool Sam picks, but I like that one too. Like Revenge Story seems pretty good.
The Minecraft dog.
Minecraft dog. That's messed up. That's not cool.
I didn't even know about this. It seems like a secret feud, even.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a dog.
What?
Uh-oh.
You're so fucking. Okay. So either way, I just really want to promise them that we're gonna bring a really good match, no matter what, win or loss. We're gonna bring another show, just like that last match.
Promise that I'm gonna feed less this time.
Looking back at that match, we made some really simple mistakes that we've really tried to improve hard on, right? So we've took that match probably one of the most serious matches of the season, and we've learned a lot from it, and from facing them. So I'm sure they have too, but we're gonna bring an even better match this time, and I'm sure we'll keep that promise later on.
Nice. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. You guys, even though it didn't go your way in the end, it was an awesome match to watch, and I would appreciate seeing the revenge match possibly going your way, just to keep the theme going, the rivalry into the off season. So and I know Meteors they have a pretty big target on their back. I know they're one of the more vocal teams in our tier, and a lot of people see them as like a huge contender. So a lot of feelings go towards them. Not always warranted, but definitely like I'm sure that they thrive in that environment of just constantly being the target everyone's trying to take down because commit is a little bit too high of a wall for some people right now, and I completely understand the just let them do their own thing until someone takes them down, and then we all study that VOD. But until that point, it's all just let's be the first team to really show Meteors that even though they didn't think of us maybe as the best team, this is time to get the dub and be a team to get scared. Because if you take out a team like what you guys, Meteors, Tough Luck, and Commit, if someone takes a game off of one of you guys, then they're considered like a contender. So that's I think what a lot of who's left in the Discord tier is trying to do in these last couple weeks. So watch out for the sleeper picks like Reno and Infius and Invictus trying to take crazy games off of you guys. Definitely wouldn't sleep on Reno or Invictus as of late. I know that there's been some roster changes, but those are some really great teams with great people on it. Infius I don't know as well, but we do a couple scrims. We had a scrim set up with them actually, and it didn't go through, which really hurt my feelings. But a bunch of really nice guys over there, and I know that they're in the process of becoming a team to really not sleep on, like kind of what happened in the beginning of the season. So I appreciate everybody's like this final second win that everyone's going through. So on that similar note, the last five, uh, is there any games that you look forward to watching as a spectator? Maybe just like knowing the outcome from like any other teams. Is there radar out, or is it just head down grinding the Infius Reno Commit Invictus matchup until playoffs?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked at the last few.
I believe
schedule.
15th week. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Close versus Harmony and Chaos. I'm actually kind of interested in, mainly because those are two teams that, not gonna sugarcoat it, they were doing like pretty poorly early season. I think most people agree with that. But then, like, especially like mid season to now, they've really picked up and they started to become like actual contenders. People are kind of getting scared of. So, like, as two teams that are sort of both in that sort of state independently, but we haven't really seen compete against each other yet. I'm really interested in seeing which of them has grown more since the mid season.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. We played them back to back and they both beat us, and that really made us think twice about considering them a low tier pick, especially Eclipse as of late. I think Eclipse have really flipped the switch, while Harmony had a lot of success and then dipped down again, and then is just keep doing like the balancing act of are we a good team or are we the same as we were when we started. And definitely after playing them, they're a bunch of good guys. So it has to just be a stability thing. And just week to week, the mentalities change, and there's nothing really you can do about that. So just working with it and rolling with the curveballs is what's gonna have to happen on that team. So that's cool. Week 15 is definitely gonna be full of excitement for everybody. Our hardest game's week 15 against Frantic Lava Cats, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, you guys finish on a hard note.
It's a bad one, yeah. We're the most scared for that. Like we have Tough Luck and Meteors coming up, not even close to how much prep we're gonna put into Frantic Lava Cats match.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah, we don't think we're gonna make it, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Look out for us.
People called One Last Bed versus Meteors match of the season, and I appreciate that. That was like really cool to see all that. But I think match of the season is coming up week 13. Aimbot
That's a
versus
huge
Lava
one.
Cats.
Yep, that's gonna be a big one.
I wish it was streamed, but unfortunate.
How would that go? How would that happen? Would it be like they just put a blank, they just go into a custom game with no one in it, and it's just like the commentators and the play-by-play has to like really hype it up even though nothing's happening? That would be really fun. I would like that.
They just put 6 bots on each team.
Ooh,
and then just like spectate, like commentate a 4 map series bot match.
Oh my goodness, I would be such a. I know 4 map. What are you talking about? That's map 5. That's a game.
I actually unironically want to do that now, but it's a different thing.
I have approximately 1 person in the admin community that listens to me. I'll do my best. I'll talk to him. We'll see if we can make it happen.
All right.
He's got a plug. I see.
I got the plug. After my time doing these interviews, I have attained one potential favor, and might be time to cash in.
Those
Okay.
easy
That's it.
scrim books.
Easy.
I'm actually pretty interested in Commit versus Invictus. That one should be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think that there
'Cause
was
that's
going to be
the
so much
Specs
hype behind that
together.
match, but after hearing the podcast and the community talking more about it, it seems like a lot of people are pulling for Invictus to be the one.
I think a match that might be only just me, but this week, Instalock versus Alta 4. I know players from both teams, like Koga on DPS, Kuna, and I just want to see them go head to head, like those two people. But like I know for a fact Instalock's gonna boom them 100%. Like
Who's
I
the
think
sixth
probably
player though?
what?
Isn't Instalock in a situation where they don't have 6 players because Specs left?
Okay. Honestly, we played all F4 5v6 and we almost beat them on a map on Numpani.
Whoa, whoa.
So I think Kuna can bring the heat, and same with Frosty.
Okay.
He
But
didn't have to say that. Sorry.
to be fair, so yeah, Instalock's issue isn't they lost Specs, but they did get Juke in as a replacement, which is like objectively better in every way, as we
And
all
then
know.
they just dropped some.
But then Silent Monkey going down, that's I assume Sacred Walrus is competent enough to be able to get either a like a solid 6th player by the match, probably within the next 30 minutes or so. Actually, I would have to be or like
Oh,
a
yeah,
sub
'cause they're
registered so
24
they could.
hours.
But even with a sub, I think Instalock probably takes that match. They've been looking like they just have so much good talent now, especially with Juke coming in as like a really nice leader. So that's pretty interesting.
It's
Right.
exactly what the team needed.
Yeah, any team any team that Juke's on is a team to really be feared. It's not always like he's not one of those players that I look for like incredibly mechanical plays, but what he brings to the comms of a team and just like the morale and mentality behind a team cannot be like overstated. I think he's really good at just keeping a team in line, talking them through stuff, coming up with strats. I mean, he like never been on a team with him, but at the same time, like he's been active in our Discord, like which is wild because we didn't we didn't expect anyone from the community to come into our Discord and like even talk to us. So like he came in, he was just like, yeah, here's everything. Here's just how I feel about everything you're doing at all times. I was like, holy goodness, let's talk to this guy more. So super nice guy. Really happy for Instalock to have them on a team. I'm sure that they'll still put on a good show for us against Alta 4. I just think that if the Alta 4 was ever gonna take a game off of Instalock, I guess it'd be this week since they don't have like as stable as a roster as maybe they're used to. Um, I still understand where a lot of people are coming from, where it's like Alta 4 still probably will take the L, but I kind of got to root for the underdog just because like someone has to, right? Like I mean,
True.
let's try. Let's try to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they can beat a team without 6 players. Let's hope.
There's credibility to that argument, especially because Instalock's been in a weird spot, not even just because of the roster, but also partially because like they're gonna be playing this match with, I think, assuming they get a sub or a new player by like the time they're gonna be playing this match with 3 players that they haven't played in a tournament match before, in like Jet, Juke, and whoever their main tank would be. But especially interesting is the fact that ever since week 7, so they had a bye week 7, Otaku forfeited to them week 8. They played Meteors, which is kind of a it's you can kind of
That was a
expect to lose no
blowout.
matter what. They did well, but even then, you kind of expect to lose that game. And then week 10, they also have a bye, so they haven't had really a competitive game in the last few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how they come back from not playing a super like important or competitive game while also having like half the roster be new players.
Yeah. Also with Alta 4, I'm pretty sure they have two buys coming up, which is interesting. That's like a lot of people give them flack for not doing the best that they potentially could be, but um, still have a really good chance of making it into the playoffs just by how many like I'm pretty sure either Otaku forfeited to them or something or along those lines. They've already had 1 buy and they have 2 buys coming up, so that's like that's and they already have like I think it's like their 3 wins right now. They might be at 4, and they get 2 more for free. So like that's not a bad look going what 6 and like the worst they could do is like 6-7, 6-8,
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, I mean, good luck to them. Good luck to Instalock. Hopefully they can pull it together and like if they get this win in like commanding fashion, then I'm sure that'll give them a lot of confidence going into the weeks to like after. So it could go either way. So super cool, and definitely good luck to you guys in your big match against Sugar Rush. It's gonna be a hard one. So do your best.
Yeah, my biggest fear coming into that match was definitely I will deliver.
Oh no.
He was kind of a scary player. Unfortunately, he I mean, as well as I guess the rest of Sugar Rush are kind of gone for the Q now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, that's the kind of game I actually wanted to play this game sort of from the beginning of the season, honestly, because I always was interested in Sugar Rush as a team. But it's a little unfortunate that we didn't end up being able to do it. But
Right.
a 4-0 is a 4-0, you know, it's free, so I'll take it. But
Yeah, it was interesting at the beginning of the season. We kind of set up like a rival trio before by the time that like we got into the preseason tournament, they're like the three teams were gonna try to like consistently play at the level at or more. Was Aimbot, Sugar Rush, and Frantic Lava Cats, and they're all gone. So
That's an
so
unfortunate trio.
I know Frantic Lava Cats was our first game ever, so they were a pick because of that. They're like, yeah, so this is the first team we've ever played. This will be our rival, and then we played. Where we met Juke and learned that he was on aimbots. Then we had a super close game with the aimbots, and we're like, okay, this is awesome. We gotta do something with this. We just gotta start liking these guys and talk to them more and play with them. And then they left recently, and then Sugar Rush was the team that we lost to that we were so sour about because it was so close, and we're like, we gotta grind to be better than this team. And then now they're gone. So
Yeah.
Club.
I know.
Competition's getting wiped out right
I mean,
over.
now you are better than them. You have officially gotten better than them. So
That's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah. I'm not gonna like it's weird though, because at the same time, like we're getting really scared that someone's gonna like figure out that we've actually like killed every member of each team. And so Juke's the only one who's gotten out, and he hasn't mentioned anything to anybody that we've just been on this serial killer esque spree. So we'll just make sure that that word doesn't get out. I'll have to have you guys sign an NDA. And then we'll be on our way.
Speaking
Okay.
of the teams that are still left in like contention at this point, the three teams that are not styled to go into playoffs right now are Otaku, Infius, and Harmony and Chaos, which I have not noticed from before. But those three teams, Infius still has to play us and commit, so it's looking interesting.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, just looking at the standings right now, it seems unlikely that Infius, just because of a tough early season, is it's gonna be tough for them to get back into playoff contention. Otaku's just had their own roster troubles. It happens. It's unfortunate. But then when you look at teams like Harmony and Chaos kind of on the rise, that's interesting to look at. My personal prediction is that Harmony and Chaos and Alta 4 go on huge win streaks, and Prodigious just loses all their games and goes to the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, that's mine too. Yeah, they're a really bad team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Watch us in this tough luck game. Let's see if we can get a kill. That's our new
No,
goal.
Yeah, I mean, to be
Oh,
fair,
no,
I haven't
no,
seen
no.
much from Tough Luck since we played them, so I don't know where they're at right now.
Alta 4 forfeited to them last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Big-
So I haven't had much actual content to watch from them, so it'll be interesting to see how that game goes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're not really looking to do anything crazy. We've kind of mentally checked out of this meta. We're not really all that into it. We're working on some just other stuff internally, and we're gonna try to field that closer to playoffs because we're fairly confident that we're gonna be able to beat teams like Instalock and Otaku, and then we get that bye at the end. So like we're like kind of banking on if we make it into playoffs, then we'll be able to ride the new meta wave. So like that's a completely you guys can every team can listen to that and use that however they want. We're not too into like keeping secrets. We like everyone to kind of play around us. I mean that's how initially we like got the attention of people like Ski and stuff like that. It was like we were just running off meta comps and doing fairly well. So, but then the meta became more solid, and we're starting to like lose steam because we're like, oh, let's try running meta, and then we just did it. We just could not get a win with it. So we're trying to the Shungdu route of just make it or break it. So we'll see how well we do, but hopefully everyone keeps us in their prayers because we're probably gonna need it. It's kind of been a slaughter lately. Um, but yeah, So I like the idea of Otaku and Harmony and Chaos and Alta 4 really making the end of the season look ended in a dominating fashion. Because Harmony and Chaos definitely deserves it. As of late, they've been doing a lot of cool stuff, and Alta 4 I have not been watching them since literally the preseason tournament. We played them week 1 and just haven't even kept up. Um, and then Otaku or New Taku as people have been calling them, or Instant Ramen, which is their potential name change for next season. Um, they're full of really good players and nice people, so I can't root against them in any fashion. So, but we are now at the 15-minute mark, so we're gonna start talking about more of the prompted questions that's in every cast, and the first one's gonna be, in your opinion, just each one of you can have different ones. Who is contributing to the team the most morale-wise? It could be positive, it could be negative. Obviously, positive is what we're looking for. But if someone's super toxic, you gotta call them out. Do it. So, like, who's contributing more, like, positively out of game?
Okay, so I'm not gonna do the negative side like you said because that'd ruin my own image. But positive, you know what? Like this isn't just because he's here. This isn't just me being like Mr. Funny Haha Man, but Unkempt, my man, uh, he's been a really positive influence because he's a funny guy. Like he's Mr. Funny, all that. But also he's just like super positive in game. He gets like in terms of like visually and audibly, he gets like the least tilted of some of our team members. I think, especially when we're in like troubling states where we're playing games that seem like we're underperforming any of that. He's always been like there and telling us that we should just keep like powering through it and all that. It's my boy Unkempt, yeah.
Yeah, I like Unkempt too. Whenever we're losing,
Yeah.
he'll just whisper "easy clap" into my ear, and it really helps. Gotta
I
say.
like myself too. But honestly, I don't see myself as like I get tilted too, right? And like there's times and maybe one time in a scrim that I got boomed so hard that I wanted to yell at them, but I didn't. But like honestly, I think the person that keeps the most cool is Matt, even though he's on a leave of absence. He's the oldest one out of like one last ride, and I think he's one of the more like passive people on our team.
Mm.
So like he doesn't raise his voice at all. So I think he's more like someone that's like we should be kind of like, but we're Zoomers and he's a boomer, so it's like climate change. It's eventually gonna happen.
He's very
Uh,
chill. Yeah, I
Speaking of
gotta agree with that.
Matapat, expect some information, some. I don't know what I'm going. I don't know what's going for.
I know what you're going
Expect a potential return of Matthew Tathew sometime soon.
Yeah,
Oh.
bro. Woo.
The leave of
Matt
absence
coming
is
back.
potentially going on leave of absence.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Nice. And then I guess the second one that we usually do is who's improved the most. It could be, I mean, we're looking more for like mechanical gameplay, but it could be mentality wise, it could be comms wise, leadership, anything.
Oh god, I actually okay. So, uh, we this is sort of like an irrelevant thing for the beginning of the season, but we came in with 2 off tanks, but they weren't the 2 off tanks that we currently have. So we started the season with Telm J Cannon we have now, and also a guy named Pef who kind of disappeared
us.
one day out of nowhere. Yeah, it was strange. But Telm he from the start I was not gonna lie, kind of iffy on him. Like he played like mostly like Diva and Zarya back when we thought that was meta, the kind of goats era. And I wasn't like 100% confident. I was like, I don't know if we want to like run like specific comps with if we're running him on like off tanks and all that. But I think of all of our players from like before the start of the season to now, he's like picked it up so hard. His hog was consistently like incredibly good back during the Orisa hog meta, and I think he's done really well in Orisa for being a hero that isn't really his role that he's kind of picked up and has taken on pretty well ever since the new meta came in. So I think he's probably the most improved of our team.
Nice. Any differing opinions there?
I do have to say, yeah, Telm has improved a lot mechanically, definitely. But there's also like going back to Matt, he's also helped us improve a lot through his mentality, and mostly his comms. Like he helped our comm structure a lot. Well, when he was here, he's been gone for a while now. But he helped our comm structure a lot, and that helped us a lot. I'd say definitely like through just learning the game and basis of communication, he's really helped us with that. On to you, Unkempt. Who do you think is the most improved?
Like now that you mentioned Matt for like comms, oh, I'm fucking getting herpes in my mouth. Give me 1 second.
What?
What?
Uh-oh.
Okay, what? Okay, right. So like now that you mentioned Matt as like someone who's like progressed over the course of who we had him in time and stuff, like yeah, I see him as like someone that's like who's improved over like this fucking one last ride, and same with Tom. Like those two, I can't differentiate which one's better, which one's improved more. I personally I think Tom, like yeah, he was on the Hog and then the Diva and the Zarya, and now he's like on the Orisa. Obviously, he does all this. He does like we follow him, and same with modern stuff like that. So I think like his awareness of what like how we play as a team has improved from switching from like off tank to main tank. So he's gotten better with like team positioning and like where we play and like where our DPS play and where the tanks play as a whole, stuff like that. But like I'm not gonna say our DPS haven't improved. Coder and Kairos, they've been just dominating throughout the whole time. Unless your Coder's internet, then it's on Luckers. But like those two, I wouldn't say they've improved. They've just been dominating the whole Trank era community. People like that, like they're good. So I don't see them improving. I just see them pooping on people. And I take pictures.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, we're down to the last about 8 minutes, so we're gonna get to the much anticipated section, which is the tier list. You only have to do it for your tier, but you're more than welcome to give some Harmony opinions. We only do the top 8 from each, so we'll start with Discord. You can collaborate as a team, but what I hear first is what will be recorded first. So just go ahead and start shouting out whatever you feel, and I'll start writing that down.
Okay, so
Top 4 is always locked in.
I
Right?
feel like Commit's definitely not in the top 8.
Okay.
Not.
Yeah. No, I
So,
wouldn't.
no,
Okay.
no. So okay, so yeah, obviously Commit number 1. I don't think anyone's gonna like disagree with that. It's just they've been consistent. It's the thing you can't deny, no matter how much you want to say about them. Or like, ooh, I think one last ride, or I think X team is gonna beat them this week. They've dropped like 5 maps or something the whole season.
Until someone
Kinda
actually
ridiculous.
beats them. And just for reference here, they have 11 more map differential than Meteors, which is nuts from jumping from 1 to 2. So I definitely think the clear top 3 is then Commit, Meteors, us. Like, yeah, there's not, like Modern said with Commit, there's not really much debating that,
Right.
Meteors and us are then below anything but top 3, I don't think.
Yes, so that's I feel like the top 3 most people kind of like agree on. In terms of beyond that though, so Tough Luck has been consistently in that kind of like a 4 to 3 spot from the beginning of the season till now. Even though they've had like their issues and they've like drop matches and stuff like that, they've still been pretty consistently beating the teams they need to beat, and they haven't lost their position in the standings. So I think they're pretty solid for like 4th or 5th. Because previously I would have for sure put Instalock 4th place above Tough Luck, but with Instalock's changes, we haven't really seen a whole lot out of them just because of all their buys and all that. So it's hard to say for sure where Instalock is, but I would still probably put Instalock in the top 5, just below Tough Luck, at least based on how I think they're gonna play with their new pickups.
Gotcha. So beyond the top 5, I know that it's where it gets really messy. So what do you got there?
Can we start from the bottom?
Yeah, sure.
Well, there's like 3, so
I mean, like minus the rest in peace teams.
I
stuff
think.
Like
Well, yeah,
yeah.
we're not going beyond 8. We're not talking
yeah,
about
we're
that.
just
It's
gonna
just.
yeah.
But if you meant bottom as in number 8, you can do that.
Let me check. Though.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? So for me, like an 8th is kind of a toss up between like Invictus and Renovatio, but I think just purely based on the performance that Invictus gave against Renovatio in the past, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before. Reno was playing awkward. They also were missing some of their players, so it's not necessarily their fault. They kind of were having a bit of a roster bump right there. But I think just Invictus's performance has been good enough to maybe say I think that I can say they're in top 8, like at the 8th position.
And that's Invictus at 7? Or would you say they're at 6? Because we still have one more spot to fill.
Actually, I would say yeah, Invictus is actually 8th. I would say that Reno, while very close, just doesn't make the top 8.
Oh, See, dang, poor
And then
guys.
for me at least, below Invictus, I think then I would have
Well, not below Invictus, between
or
Invictus.
between Invictus and
Insta-lock.
number 4. I would put number 7 is probably Eclipse and then Instalock. That's what I would say. And then that still leaves 5th, doesn't it? Wait.
Well,
Yeah, no,
currently
no,
Insta-lock's in
so
5th, but we
yes,
can move
Instalock's
it.
5th. We have a gap of 2 between Instalock and Invictus. What I was gonna say is like, because all the like, there's been a lot of like talk about the teams. I just think based on like not only standings, but also how they've been performing against higher teams, I would put both Eclipse and Harmony and Chaos in those 2 spots between Invictus and Instalock, just because of like the growth they've had over the past few weeks. Like they've showed up quite a bit against the
Then
bottom
again,
5,
then
6
again.
teams.
Yeah, I was about to say Eclipse went against Infius, and then they went against Sugar Rush, and then they went against Prodigious.
Yeah, they're not
and then
playing.
I think that was a forfeit to Ult F4 when they were going through the roster changes. But so they played Infius, Sugar Rush, Prodigious. I don't know. I think this next coming weeks will really prove it, because they have Renovadio, Commit, Invictus will really prove if they're top 8 material. But I don't know if we can call it yet.
However, you gotta consider, like, since 3 teams have dropped out now, that leaves what, a total of
It leaves
13?
Harmony, Chaos.
It leaves 13, so then you're only leaving 5 out of the top 8, and they've beat, I think, at least 3 or 4 of those 5 teams. So it's kind of hard to say they're out of the top 8, just because like you kind of have a more limited pool to work from.
The one that I want to see is the Invictus and Renovadio Eclipse games, because then that really decides who the top 6, 7.
But as of right now, I think Invictus is having their kind of big roster kind of troubles from the beginning, but I think they still made the top 8, and then like, you know, I would say Eclipse at 6th and Harmony and Chaos at 7th, just based on what I've seen from them recently, because Harmony and Chaos's like improvement seems to have come from like them adding players to the roster, like a big roster change-ups, whereas Eclipse seems to have just been adapting to the meta more. Like they didn't make too many major changes to their roster, all things considered.
Gotcha.
So
no, I can see that.
I would say Eclipse 6, Harmony and Chaos 7, and then Invictus 8.
I agree.
Personally.
Lock that in. Cool.
Yeah, you guys think that? Okay.
Sure. And then we only have like about 2 minutes left. Did you want to run through the Harmony, or if you don't know it, then no big deal. We don't have to force it.
I have no.
Yeah, I don't keep track too much of the Harmony games. I don't know a whole lot about most of the teams.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't really care about Harmony.
Whoa.
Wait, don't say it like that.
Oh, okay. We don't keep up to date with Harmony games and stuff like that and their records. And we can try and meme on people.
No. I don't think he wants us to do it without knowing the team.
I want to meme on people though. Okay, it's fine.
Your own time.
Okay, here, after this, all I'll say is Vitamin C out because of Capital. Easy game.
Easy clap.
I don't think I've talked to Capital in my life, but there you go.
I've coached Capital. Really nice guy. Gotta say, his team's bottom 3.
Yeah, I have to say, like, their tank line is exceptional, their support line is awesome, and their DPS gets the job done. They're all around a great team. Gonna have to put them in 13th place though. Like, it's not nothing personal, guys. You guys are some good people, but not really putting up the results to back that up.
Yeah, come on, man. Harmony tier commit.
That I feel super bad for, is that they're exact same record as commit, but Harmony tier refused to give them like to give them any recognition, and I feel so bad because Capital just he's only getting more toxic by the day because of it. So we gotta calm him down.
He's putting in the grind.
I suppose that makes sense to a degree, because it's something you notice between like Harmony and Discord, especially is Harmony has like a lot more turbulence in like the changes in like 2nd, 3rd, 4th place, whereas Discord's had a pretty consistent like top 4 or 5 from the beginning.
I want to say they've had a constant top 4 since after we beat Tough Luck. Who did we face first? Just Tough Luck or Instalock? I don't know. But after we beat after we beat Tough Luck, I think then we had the consistent top 4.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been much change in it whatsoever. I don't think at all.
But then like I hear every other week I hear about like, oh, it turns out Holy Jalapenos is actually 18 times better than Karma, and then oh no, Karma actually just beat 15 teams at once, so it looks like they're 2nd place again. You hear a lot about the changes in the Harmony tier, so
yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is gonna be the end of the interview. I appreciate everybody tuning into the stream, and of course one last ride, all you guys coming out to help help out with this interview and show us a little bit more about this team that personally I knew almost nothing about, but I knew you guys are good people and you guys have proved it. Good luck for the rest of the season, and that's gonna be me, JuCo, signing off. If you guys have any parting words, go ahead and shoot them out.
Parting words were, I was unaware that Capital is watching the stream. That's a little unfortunate.
Good luck, commit. Good luck. That's all I gotta say.
All right,
GG's,
peace.
boys.
Oh, and good luck in Fiesta too. If you got any